So I got to end on something a little bit lighter, man, because I've always wanted to ask you this. Where's your favorite place to perform?
Ooh, I don't really have a favorite place.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't have a favorite place. There's a lot of, good venues. I generally like um, a diverse audience, and I like an audience that, no matter what their political persuasion is, I like them to be open-minded and have a sense of humor, because that's something that some people forget about. There are some people who might have great politics and great morals, but some people actually don't. They have an inability to see or recognize sarcasm or satire. They actually can't, and so as long as someone's open-minded and actually has a sense of humor, that's probably the two most important things. And I do love diversity in a crowd, and that's why sometimes, like, the Comedy Cellar is so good, and that's a great venue. I mean, the venue period is great. It's a little chaotic, but I like a little chaos. So,
And that's where was it all your special or most of it that was at the Comedy Cellar?
that was filmed. There was actually about, I think, maybe 10 seconds filmed at a different venue.
Okay.
And the Comedy Cellar has 3 rooms, and I filmed it at all 3 of the rooms. It's a mix of all 3 of the rooms, and it was filmed over multiple nights and months. It was basically there's no interviews. It's just clips of stand-up performance. But I did it completely. I did it completely independently. I had no deal in place with Netflix or with anyone else. I self-financed, directed, produced it, oversaw all the editing, designed where the cameras should be.
Yeah, man, I remember when you were editing that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I made it, at the beginning of it, it says, in one of the credits, it says, "A film by Judah Friedlander." And at the time when I shopped it around, after a long time of months, Netflix finally was interested. And then one of their only notes was, it can't say "a film by Judah Friedlander" at the beginning. And I was like, well, why not? It is a film, and I made it, and that's my name. So
I'm in it too. I don't know if you watched, but I'm in that thing.
It all makes sense. There's nothing non-factual there. So they said it has to say "a Netflix comedy original," and they would not budge on that. So, and I'm like, I just want people to see this shit. So I drew a new title card, filmed that, and literally just slid out the other one and then slid that one in. And that's the only change I made. Yeah, and I also remember originally it's about 85 minutes, and they wanted it to be 50 to 60. And I just spent months editing this thing, and it's intricately edited so that everything, has a real flow and thematically and everything. And they just wanted me to just obliterate, almost half of it. And I'm like, that's just, to say that means you've no fucking idea about art or anything, So, so eventually they were just like, yeah, it's fine. Just, the length. But, so I made it independently. I licensed it to them. I have probably over, 2-3 hours of new material since that came out. I haven't released any of it yet. I've released a few clips here and there, but not as a movie or a special or as an album. I will be doing that later this year. And I'm doing a lot of, I don't know where I'm going to release it. I'm going to make it independently again. And then, well, I'll see if anyone's interested. And then if they're not, I'll self-release it somewhere. And then I'm doing a lot of stand-up shows on Zoom now. And those have been going great. I've actually really been enjoying it. I've been doing those the past few weeks. So, and
yeah, I've done some of those too. It's not quite the same, but it's better than nothing. Like a lot of the comics that put it down, it's like, dude, it's the best we got right now, and it's definitely better than not performing.
Yeah. And it's there's 2 tricky things with it. There's a slight delay.
Yep.
So, even when we're talking now, there might be a very slight delay. It's not much, but it's maybe very slight. So there's a slight delay. And the other thing that's tricky about Zoom is it's designed so that you can only hear one person talking at a time. So if you do your joke and then the audience watching laughs, if they're laughing and you start talking, they're going to cut you out.
Right.
But when you're performing, you don't realize that, so they miss some of what you're saying. So it's a little tricky, but it still works. And I found, at least for my taste, the best shows are where the audiences, you can see and hear the audience.
Right.
Because there are some shows where they mute all the audience. And I'm like, well, what's the point of that? So
the way we do it, like Graham and I have been doing a lot of those. The way we do it is we kind of ask the audience, like we treat it like a real show where it's like, typically at a stand-up show, you kind of make some announcements up top and you kind of tell people what they're in for in case it might be their first comedy show. We do that, except we kind of cater it for Zoom. And what we ask is we're like, if half of you, kind of monitor yourself. And if everybody's unmuted, we're going to hear air conditioners. We're going to hear dogs barking. It's going to get too much. But if all you are muted, well, we can't hear your laughter. We can't hear any feedback. It doesn't feel like a show. So, kind of police yourself. Every so often, mute yourself. Every so often, unmute yourself. If something really gets you want to laugh, hey, it'd be great if you were unmuted. If you need to fart or something, mute yourself, like you just.
I have a question. That's smart. Do you have someone else running the tech or do you guys do it?
Thus far, we've just done it ourselves because we've just done stuff completely independent. I mean, like we've had like some local clubs and stuff ask us to do stuff. But for us, it's like, we can, when we're doing our own thing, we can just make it like $5, gimmicks, and just kind of do our thing, send the link out.
No, that's good.
So yeah, we've just been doing our own thing.
And, I haven't run these shows yet myself, but I've done a fair amount of shows, different people. I don't know if you know Steve Hofstetter, comic and a promoter. His shows are run very well. And he's always been at the forefront of technology. So he's got an online comedy club called Nowhere Comedy Club.
I heard about this.
And
yeah.
They're doing like 1 to 3 shows a night, like 5 or 6 nights a week. And, it's like a regular comedy club. They're paying regular headliner comedy club money. So the way they do things is they kind of have a tutorial up front and they do a couple technical things, that they tell the audience to do, and then they do some on their end, and it makes a huge difference. And then they have someone separately running the tech in case, somebody's computer starts acting crazy and that audience member doesn't realize it, they'll mute them. Or in case some psychopath scammer, a spammer comes in, they'll block them. Right. So, but it totally works. Even if you just you'd sell the audience up front, hey, if you're in a quiet area, and even better if you're wearing headphones, and you're here to laugh, unmute yourself. If you're in an area where your kids are playing or the dog's barking or you're cooking dinner, mute yourself. And people, the audiences are starting to realize that too. So I think they're kind of getting more educated and are getting better.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing like a Saturday thing for a while, and we still do it. We're not doing it like every Saturday like we were, but we still do it. And it's we've had a couple, like one time my cat just like kicked out my camera and my microphone while I was in the middle of something. And then we had like one, for instance, where like the Zoom just kind of like froze up on me and I was the host, and it's just it didn't end. I was just like gone for a minute, but then I just got back in and yeah, so we've, it's been it's been a pretty cool thing, man. I initially got into it because my college agent emailed all of us and asked us to. Yeah, like they were like, we want to be able to promote virtual events. And this was like right when it happened because so many campuses were like, we're done. So they're like, we want to promote virtual events. So if you can, please get a Zoom account. Please learn how to use it. And because I have like this for the show and stuff, I was like, well, that's, I should be able to set that up pretty quickly.
Right.
So then we just started doing stand-up shows too. So
Yeah, I'm still trying to work out technical stuff on my end because, like right now, I'm just talking into the laptop. I bought a microphone and I bought a recorder that I can plug the mic into and then plug that in the computer. But I'm still trying to get the audio, play around, see what system works best. So I'm working on it. I just bought this beautiful background, so this was $10,000.
Does it say something, or is it just
No, it
like
doesn't
taped
say-
together? Okay, I couldn't tell if that was like supposed to be
I
beautiful.
taped about 30 boxes of cardboard together.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and